Yo, what is up, guys? Del Boy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, I was watching a video by Boxing Beats and Rhymes earlier today, and he was talking about the Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook fight. Today, this fight's been announced that in the UK, it's going to be televised by Premier Sports. Now, I didn't even realise Premier Sports still existed, to be honest. From a boxing perspective, the last time I remember Premier Sports was the Super 6 back in like 2009, 2010, 2011. And I think they had a couple of those fights on that channel. That was the last I heard from Premier Sports. I assumed that they was out of business, but here we are. They've purchased the rights to stage Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook. Premier Sports in the UK is a sign-up channel and it costs £9.99 per month. I have to be honest, I'm not going to subscribe just to watch this fight. Not worth it as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, all in all, I don't think this is great news for the UK boxing fan, ultimately. I mean, recently we've missed out on a lot of international fights. When it comes to BT and Sky, they've really been slipping recently. You know, we missed out on the Charlo card the other week. That was televised on Fight TV for a pay-per-view cost. We missed out on Lomachenko versus Lopez. That was also on Fight TV for a pay-per-view cost. So yeah, Sky and BT right now are slipping. And I understand that obviously we're going through a pandemic. But still, even before the pandemic, we were missing out on a lot of international fights. For example, the light heavyweight unification between Artur Beterbiev and Alexander Vodzik. How many times have we heard that boxing in the UK is thriving? It's one of the biggest sports in the UK. It's a growing sport. We've heard all of these narratives in recent years, yet we're missing out on world level unification fights and just great fights in general. In my opinion, somebody really needs to fill this void because right now, BT and Sky Sports don't seem interested in the international events in America. I mean, right now for a UK fan, the accessibility of these international fights is a little hard right now. And you know, I would like to see a broadcaster step in and actually fill this void and pick up some of these international cards. I want something that's accessible and basically, you know, everything's in one place. That's what I'm after right now. Fight TV, they've picked up certain fights, but some of them have been pay-per-view. I want to see like a broadcaster or an app basically come up with a package, maybe a monthly cost, in which I can watch all of these international fights, or as many as possible. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. If Premier Sports said we're going to be committed to actually picking up a lot of these international cards, I wouldn't have any problem subscribing to them, to be honest. But I'm not going to subscribe to watch Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook in a one-off. That's not going to happen. In fact, in an ideal world, I would like to see these fights on Sky or BT, to be honest. Actually, I believe that BT and Frank Warren have first refusal on Top Rank shows in the UK. So why BT are not televising Top Rank, I don't know. Obviously, it's cost, I do know, but still. It's hard right now for a UK boxing fan with overseas fights. It's really frustrating. Everything right now seems to be on different platforms. 1 minute is Fight TV, then it's Premier Sports. It's just kind of hard to follow right now as a UK boxing fan. I mean, this past weekend with the Roman Gonzalez card, I don't believe that card was televised in the UK at all. And obviously on the Roman Gonzalez card was Juan Estrada, who is a pound-for-pound level fighter in a lot of people's eyes, and we missed out on that. Wasn't even televised. All I'm looking for is a broadcaster or even an app to offer some sort of package in which they covered these fights, or as many as possible. I mean, what's the point in Box Nation right now? They are still active, they're still taking money from people, but they're showing no fights. Why not Box Nation solely concentrate on picking up these fights? Why not? Maybe Box Nation could fill that gap, you know? I appreciate that the pandemic hasn't helped matters, but even before the pandemic, we were missing out on certain fights, big fights that should be televised. And again, this is in a country in which apparently the sport of boxing is growing and is at an all-time high. So why not pick up these fights? And obviously, in parallel with the lack of international boxing, it seems like the regular shows by Sky and BT have just gone downhill. You know, boxing apparently is this sport in which is growing and flourishing, but the quality of product is getting worse year by year. Very disappointing right now. It really is disappointing. Hopefully we see some of these fights get televised in the future, but I won't hold my breath. Personally, I won't hold my breath. But there we go. Disappointing news that this fight is on Premier Sports, because ultimately Premier Sports are not going to commit to boxing long term. So yeah, it's just another fight behind a paywall, like the Fight TV fights, like the Lomachenko-Lopez fight, like the Charlo card. Another fight behind a paywall, which is a shame. The cost of boxing in the UK just keeps going up and up and up. And I wouldn't have a problem paying for it if everything was under one roof, where I could pay a subscription. I wouldn't have a problem with it at that point, but right now it's all over the place. All over the place. But there we go, what can we do about it? Just a little rant, I guess. Share your thoughts below. What are your thoughts on this topic? Peace.